Hi everyone, this video is the first of the toolbox series where we go over the basics of drawing geometry with a compass and ruler, and so that you can easily access those basics later whenever you need them. Here we will talk about the first division of the circle that we learn in geometry and that we use all the time, and it's a sixfold division, so dividing a circle in 6 equal parts. If you're new on this channel, my name is Lucie Rose. I'm a geometer and a painter, and I do research about the geometry of Gothic rose windows, so the beautiful motifs that ornate the facade of the Gothic architecture. And I teach geometry online and in person. You can check out my website for my online courses, it's in the description below. And now we will get to the topic of dividing the circle in 6 equal parts. So why do we start learning geometry by dividing in 6 and not in 3 or 4, for example? This is just because it's the easiest division, and for this you only need to use the compass. There's no need for the ruler or any other tool like a square or any measure. You just need a compass and only one radius, and you don't need to therefore change the opening of the compass. So I'm going to show you 2 ways of doing this division. First, as I said, we're going to use only the compass. If you want indications about materials, I will link another video somewhere up there where I give more indications about the materials I use and that I recommend. So for this, I'm going to take a radius of approximately 5 centimeters, just so that I have enough space in my paper here to do 2 different drawings. But this is just an indication as for the for the drawings to fit on the page. So roughly 5 centimeters. And I'm going to do a first drawing here on the left. I place my compass point and I draw a full circle like this. And now from that circle, so I keep the same opening of the compass on my compass, don't change it, and I'm going to go roughly at the top of the circle around here, really placing the compass point on the circle, and I'm going to draw a new arc that crosses my circle in full, like this. Now by drawing this arc, I've created 2 intersections on each side, and so from now on I only use an intersection that is present on the drawing. I don't place the compass in any random way. And so from each intersection, I'm going to draw a new arc like this. And you see a first petal has appeared here, and 2 new intersections down here. So I'm going to carry on each side, right and left, going all the way around the circle, drawing arcs from the new intersections that I get. And I have those 3 petals up here and this one, and I don't technically need it to, the circle is divided in 6 already, but just to complete the petals, I'm going to place the compass point down here on the last intersection given by the petal point, and I'm going to draw a last arc like this. So now we have sort of a flower with 6 petals, which is the base of a bigger diagram called the Flower of Life that you may have heard of, and I will most probably do another video on that full diagram later on. But so this is the base for it, so just 6 petals. And now I can therefore use that to draw symmetry axes, so linking the points of the petal opposite on the circle, so point of the petal to point of the other petal going through the center. These are my symmetry axes. That cuts my circle in 6 equal parts or slices. And from that division, the other thing I could draw right away is a hexagon. So hexa is for 6 and gon is for sides. So it's a figure with 6 equal sides and equal angles as well. So it's a regular polygon. Now with the symmetry axis and the hexagon, you can see how this hexagon is made of 6 equilateral triangles. That's a kind of another topic. And now on the other side of my paper here, I'm going to draw it in a slightly different way. Similar idea, but this time I'm going to start off with a vertical line instead of starting off with the circle. So to do this, I'm going to just measure up and down my paper to make sure my line is very vertical. You don't absolutely have to do this. Just have a vertical line to start with. And on the case of the sixfold division, vertical or horizontal does matter. I will say more about that afterwards. So I'm just marking 8 centimeters from the edge of my paper. And I can roll a vertical line. And now it's going to be exactly the same principle, but starting off on that line. So I use the same opening of the compass because it's going to fit on my drawing, but it doesn't have to because it's a different, separate drawing from the first one. And placing carefully my compass point on the line I've made, I can draw my initial circle. You could measure the center of the line if you wanted to place the circle exactly in the center, but here it's not a big deal, so I'm just going for it. So you have your initial circle, and this time we're going to do it slightly differently, meaning that instead of drawing the full arcs and having the petals, we are just going to mark the intersections on the circle. So starting this way means that I already have the circle divided in two, and I already have 2 intersections between the line and the circle. So I'm not going to place my compass kind of randomly like I did earlier, even though it was not really random because it was towards the top of the circle. So I place my compass point on the intersection and I mark where that crosses the circle, but I just make a little mark like this. I don't draw the full arc. And I can do the same thing from the other end of the line where it intersects with the circle again. There. And now to be extra sure that everything is precise, you can, still keeping the same measure on the compass, double check by placing the compass point on one of your intersections and double check that it crosses the other. Sometimes if you've put your compass down between 2 steps, or if you're involved in the drawing or you're not quite sure, you've picked up exactly the right radius. If you've moved the compass in between, this sort of check at the end can be very useful to be sure that your division is quite exact. So now I have 6 intersections on my circle. I have the ones with my vertical line, and so the 2 ones here and then 2 on each side. And I'm going to use them again to draw the symmetry axis. So linking opposite points on the circle and going through the center. Like so. And this technique of using a line first is useful because it helps you being slightly more precise, because you start off with having the 2 opposite points. If you place your circle really on the line, then those 2 points are kind of exact anyway, and from here you do this one, and from here this one. So because here, if you had a slight difference starting from each side going down, you sort of increase the slightly difference. At this stage of drawing, it's not a big deal, but when you do more involved drawing, it can matter. So, for example, if you draw the full diagram of the flower of life, starting with a vertical line is useful, just because it keeps things a little bit tighter. And now I'm going to place a different figure on this one division. I'm going to draw a 6-pointed star this time, so hexagram. And the 6-pointed star is made of 2 overlapping triangles, equilateral triangles. One will be pointing up and one will be pointing down. So linking again points of my 6-fold division. So first like this, then linking to the bottom intersection to get my triangle. So with this 6-pointed star now, you can see that we have 6 equal portions of the circle, so 6 arcs that are the same size. This is what it means to divide a circle in 6. Also, you can notice how the points of the star are made as well of equilateral triangles, and that the inside of the star, the heart of the star, is made of a hexagon again. So the same shape that we had here, just placed differently. And also, I insisted on starting with a vertical line because in the case of the 6-fold division, it really does make a difference, meaning that if I had started with a horizontal line, it would orientate the star very differently. It would still work, it would still be a 6-pointed star, the geometry of it is still right, it's just a different look to it, and sometimes it's used, so sometimes we want to start with a horizontal. But just if you want the usual vertically orientated 6-pointed star, then you have to start with a vertical line. And so here, this is what I did also when I had you place a compass point at the top of the circle. If you had placed a compass point somewhere else on the circle, then you will get a different orientation for the star. So as I was saying at the beginning of the video, this division in 6 is very important because it's the basis of the rest of geometry, and it's the most simple one to do with only the compass and only one measure, only one opening of the compass. I hope this video was useful to you. You can save it if you might want to go back to it later. And we will, in this toolbox series, look at other divisions of the circle and other more complex things as well, all around drawing geometry with only a compass and ruler. Do let me know in the comments if you have questions. Let me know also other topics you might want me to go over in this series or in general. Have a look at my website listed below in the description if you're curious about the online courses that I give. Some are pre-recorded, some were live sessions. There might be more live sessions to come. And you can also find me on Instagram, so Lucie Rose Geometry for everything related to geometry, and Lucie Rose Art for my artwork. Thank you for watching this video and see you later.